All right, what's going on, ladies? Listen, this is videos for you, and it's basically I'm going to be talking about. I have a young lady here who's going to be, she's off camera, but you can hear her voice. Say hi to the people.
Hey everybody. I'm not trying to be the token woman in this conversation, but I'll give my opinion.
I know, but this is very important because what we're going to be talking about is how important it is for women to comply to a man's request, a man that she wants to be with. Let's say that, because
not all guys have your best interest in mind.
Right.
I think that's my argument.
But this is what I'm saying. Sometimes what happens is that women don't realize that they're turning men off by being very resistant
and uncooperative
to the man that they're with.
I agree with that.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that a lot of times what happens is that what a man is looking for, like a real man, not some, like guy who's kind of soft, or a guy who, you know what I mean? Like one of those like guys who aren't really assertive or aggressive or,
Can we just
decisive.
Say most men?
Most men what?
What are most men looking for?
No, most men are looking for women who are going to listen to them and to do what they say and follow their instructions. Right? See, I see your face already. You're like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Right, because women aren't servants. We're not.
No, it's not about, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's not about you being a servant. It's about what happens is this: when a man, and this is what I'm saying, like a real man is dealing with you, right? When he's dating
you. Most men. I wouldn't say real man, because there are real men. They're very much men.
Right, but
are not assertive. They're not alpha males.
But what you got to understand is that those guys are usually the guys that most women don't really want. Like,
and they're the minority.
Who's the minority?
The men that are, what I'm saying, putting this in quotes, not real men. You're saying the majority of men. The majority of men
are
looking for.
No. There's a minority of men who are looking for women to follow their instructions.
That's a minority?
Yes.
Okay, so most men are okay with women who won't follow instructions.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. The guys who don't want women to follow their instructions are the type of guys women don't want. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So what I'm saying is that there's a minority. The guys that you ladies want are in a small category. Like, you actually want this guy, and so in order for you to keep him, you have to comply. You understand what I'm saying? You have to cooperate.
I mean, I think that's true in general. If you want to be friends or be on a team with anyone, if you're uncooperative and you're not going to be a team player, it actually doesn't matter who your partner or the other team players are. They're going to find you uncooperative and difficult to work with. Right? So that could be another woman. It could be a man that isn't like
right. But what I'm talking about specifically in this video is because when women are looking for a man to be with, right? They're looking. I'm sure most of you ladies watching, you want a man who is like, the best choice you can get. You may want a guy who's, who has his shit together. He has a good job, or he owns a business. He's someone you're physically attracted to, someone who the sex is great, someone who is a leader who takes charge, right?
Yeah.
So if you want that guy who's going to lead you and take charge, how does that occur? Right? Maybe you have to follow instructions, be cooperative. Do you see how that works? So how you can't have a guy who's going to be a leader, a guy who's going to be on point, if you do not cooperate with that. You see what I'm saying?
And I'm hoping that you can add the caveat of, if he's telling you to do something that's not good for you, or not good for you as a team,
right,
or that you feel is really a terrible idea, you don't cooperate with that.
No, and I agree. And this is where
he doesn't. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the men you're talking about, I don't think they want women to just agree and do things that aren't good for them.
No, and that's what,
and then be miserable and bitter.
That's what I'm trying to get at too.
Okay.
And I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay. What I'm saying here is that, and this goes to women choosing the right guy. You understand? Because if you choose the right guy will not lead you astray. right? The problem is that, you know, you have a guy who has proven he's on point, right? So since he's proven he's on point, you should have faith that he is doing things and saying things in your best interest. You understand? Which is why he's telling you to do these things, because he has your best interest at hand.
Hopefully.
No, but this is what I'm saying, and that's the thing. Like, so most women, what happens is that there's this factor of women not being able to let go and trust a man to be able to be able to submit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, be in that situation where she can be led by him. See, it's a two-way street. Like, he can't lead unless you follow, right? And then you can't have that man who's a leader, who's decisive, who's masculine, without you also on this side being feminine, submissive, and cooperative. You see what I'm saying? So you can't be on this thing where it's like, well, I'm gonna be resistant, and then at the same time want a man to be a man. It just doesn't work that way. You see what I'm saying?
I think there's something to be said for the fact that being resistant for no good reason is a turnoff for a lot of guys.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I wonder if sometimes women do this because they think being assertive themselves and like letting men know I have boundaries and you can't just fuck with me is good. And I think it's good to a certain extent, but only if you actually have those boundaries. Only if this is something that really is important to you, right? If you're just acting uncooperative just for the persona of it,
right?
It's actually damaging your ability to have a good relationship.
Right, exactly.
Right, and I'm saying be assertive when you need to, but if you don't care too much, either way, let the man lead, or, yeah. And
this is the thing. It's not like, you know, a man, you know, men are perfect or anything. But what you gotta understand was when a man is telling you, hey, you know, we're gonna do this, or hey, come over here, or he's saying this not to boss you around, not to make it seem as if like you have no mind or whatever. What he's doing is that he's actually, because you're talking about, oh, you know, I don't want to be a servant. The man is actually in service to you. So let him serve you by leading you in the right direction.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But then it's just like being a team. It's not like one person is serving the other one necessarily.
No, but we
like
both are in service to each other. You see what I'm saying? In different ways. And so what happens is, let's say, for example, where a woman might be in a situation where she is emotionally, you know, exhausted over whatever, and so she may not be thinking straight, when the guy is in a state of mind where he can think straight to guide her in a direction to get her back to her center, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that quality that the man has is something that benefits the woman if she will allow herself to let a guy, you know, do that.
Right, take care of her when she's in
right.
Emotional
You see what I'm saying? Right,
sure.
Right.
I also, we were talking about this before, about how my trainer, I think, is one of these guys. He's the kind of person who comes into the gym and he tells people what to do and they do it.
Right.
And if there's any friction for whatever reason, that's like frustrating for him.
Right.
And I think that he would agree with you that in this dynamic, I'm sure it's the same for his like personal relationships, but in the dynamic of him training me and the other people that I work out with, it's important to him that we trust his judgment and what we can do.
Exactly.
So if he says, like this happened the other day, he was telling me to do something that looked way too hard, and I honestly couldn't finish it. Right. But I did my best because I was trusting him, and I know for him, if I went in and I was like, I can't, I won't be able to do this, that to him is super uncooperative, and he just like gets into this like place where he's like, well, I can't work with you. Exactly.
And see, that's the thing, is like, you have to be able to, because I know that women have been in situations where, like, you know, they've been with terrible dudes and all this other stuff. And again, this comes to what I was saying earlier. You have to pick better guys and know how to pick better guys. I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that.
And build the trust.
Right, but what I'm saying is you have to be able to recognize when you have someone who has your best interests in mind. But also too, like what you were saying, what you were saying about the situation with the trainer, and this goes for men who are alpha males, which I said is the minority, which is the most attractive guy for most women, is that they're going to tell you things, and they're saying these things so that you can listen and so that you can follow, and you may not at the moment understand why they're telling you this, or it may not make sense to you, but they have it in your best interest. And I use the example of the Karate Kid movie, where in the Karate Kid, for those who don't remember, there's Mr. Miyagi, who is the teacher, and
you can tell the short version of that.
No, I know. It's the teacher, whatever, and the kid, I think his name was Daniel's son or something like that. And so he wanted to learn karate, and the teacher was making him do like these motions of he was like cleaning up stuff and waxing on and waxing off, right? So he's like, what the hell is the point of all this? And so he's telling him, basically, listen to what I'm saying and do it. So then when it came time to fight, the motions he was doing with the cleaning was the motions he needed to do for the fighting. But he didn't realize that. He was training him. You see what I'm saying? So if you would listen, right, and not question every little thing,
right,
then things would flow better in your relationship.
Yeah, I think my trainer would like you a lot.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's what it is that the problem today when it comes to the relationships you ladies are having with men is that there's too much resistance in these situations. And what needs to happen is that you need to find better men to follow, and also guys got to step it up too, as far as like them being more masculine. But it's up to you to say, okay, this is the type of guy I want to follow. Like even in the game, they have this thing, sometimes they say, like when a guy is approaching girls or trying to get with girls, they call it campaigning. You understand? And then so he's campaigning to get elected. Who's he trying to get elected by? The women. So you have to choose who you want to be your leader. You see what I'm saying? Just like how in a political thing, you choose the right person to lead. You see what I'm saying? But if you choose the wrong person, then they may lead you somewhere else. But if you know you chose the right person and you voted for that person to be in that situation to lead you, right? You got to make sure you're picking the right person. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And then trust that he is a strong leader, and he's not going to tell you to do something that will hurt you.
Right. And then for all the ladies out there who are thinking, well, I don't need no man to, tell me this and tell me that. What you got to understand is that you're never going to be satisfied in your relationships, because what you're going to do is you're going to choose a guy who doesn't lead, who is not masculine, and you're not going to enjoy yourself anyway. And so
who will allow you to have that attitude.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
need a man. I can do my own thing.
Right. And you're still going to be yearning for that alpha male leader, masculine guy. But in order for you to get him, you got to cooperate. You got to comply. You have to be submissive. And if you're telling your
man, I don't need a man, I'm fine on my own.
Right.
What is that saying to him?
Exactly.
Like that he's not important to you, that he's not, that he's, you could drop him at any time. He's not significant in your life.
Right.
And how would that make him feel about your relationship? It's like damaging from the beginning.
Exactly. And so this is what we're trying to tell you, ladies. It's just, you have to understand that there's benefits into when it comes to you dealing with men who are going to actually, lead, take charge, do all this other stuff. But you, at the flip side, have to cooperate, comply, and stop all the resistance to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen, if you ladies have any questions, click the link below. Also go to hewantyou.com to get my free program, 7 Highly Effective Steps for Finding and Keeping a Man. And I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We gone. Now, before you turn off this video, I want you to do 2 quick things. 1, I want you to click the link below and send me your questions. If you have any questions on dating and relationships, I'll make a video about it. And 2, I want you to click the link under that to get my free audio program, 7 Highly Effective Steps for Finding and Keeping a Man. And I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.